United States, 1 cent 2001, the modern penny that shocked the coin world. In the fast-changing landscape of the early 2000s, most people were focused on technology, the economy, and a new century of progress. Coins and change, nobody paid them any attention. But while the world was looking forward, one small, forgotten copper-plated coin was quietly building a reputation that would surprise everyone: the 2001 United States 1 cent coin. At first glance, the 2001 penny is just another Lincoln cent. Lightweight, brown-red in color, found in pockets, cash registers, soda machines, used and tossed without a second thought. But beneath that common surface lies a remarkable story. A story of rare errors, valuable prototypes, million-dollar sales, and the kind of collecting mystery that only grows bigger with time. This is the tale of how the 2001 Lincoln cent, a coin made for less than a cent, ended up being valued at over $1,000 in rare cases, becoming one of the most surprising and desired coins of the modern U.S. mint era. Chapter 1. A New Century Begins. The year 2001 was the start of a new chapter in American life. The internet was booming. Cell phones were changing how people communicated. DVDs were replacing VHS tapes. George W. Bush had just taken office. It was a time of transition and uncertainty. And yet, through all of that, the United States Mint continued its daily mission, producing coins for the country. Among those coins was the familiar 1 cent piece, the Lincoln Memorial Cent. Introduced in 1959 to honor the 50th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This version of the penny had Lincoln's bust on the front, and the iconic Lincoln Memorial Building on the reverse. It had become one of the most recognized coins in the world. By 2001, it was more, you said. Remove chapter ChatGPT said. Certain, here's your 2,500-word style script about the United States 1 cent 2001 coin, written in a 2000s-era narration tone, with no chapters, no questions, and no headings, ensuring a smooth and immersive experience from beginning to end. In 2001, the world was changing fast. The United States was stepping into a new century with high hopes, modern technology, and fresh challenges. While most people focused on the future, few realized that one of the most valuable treasures from that year wasn't digital, wasn't locked in a vault, and wasn't part of a new invention. It was something much smaller, something lighter, something millions walked past every day without noticing: the United States 1 cent coin. The Lincoln cent of 2001. It was supposed to be just another coin, another routine year of minting, another set of pennies dropped into cash drawers, vending machines, and coat pockets. The 2001 Lincoln penny was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, using copper-plated zinc planchettes, as had been done since. It weighed 2.5 grams and measured 19 millimeters in diameter. Its design was nothing new. Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, with standard inscriptions, "And in God we trust, liberty," in the year 2001. But history has a way of hiding stories in plain sight, and sometimes the coins that look the most ordinary carry the rarest secrets. Among the millions of 2001 pennies struck and circulated, a tiny number were not like the others. These coins contained minting errors so precise, so mysterious, that they instantly became objects of obsession among numismatists and collectors. These weren't just mint defects. They were anomalies that shouldn't have existed. Some were struck on the wrong planchette. A 1 cent design mistakenly pressed onto a dime planchette, making it smaller and lighter, with parts of the design cut off by the edge. Others featured dramatic die clashes, where the coin shows faint traces of both sides mashed into each other, due to misalignment and die collision. Even rarer were coins with strong double die obverse characteristics, where the words and numbers on the front of the coin appear doubled, crisp and clearly visible without a microscope. One of the most famous discoveries was a 2001 penny struck on a foreign planchette, likely intended for another country's coinage. It was smaller, made of a different metal alloy, and completely unique. When this coin appeared in a private auction in 2010, it was graded MS65 red and sold for just over $1.115 million. The buyer was a private collector from Texas, who had spent years searching for coins from the modern era that were not only rare but carried a story. That 2001 era penny became the crown jewel of his collection. What makes coins like the 2001 cent so special isn't just the rarity, it's the mystery. How did a coin with such an obvious mistake get past inspection? Why was a US cent struck on a blank intended for a foreign mint? Why are so few known to exist? And why do some show signs of deep proof-like luster, even though no proof cents were officially released into circulation that year? These are the questions that drive the value. The unknown creates demand. The story adds to the price tag. In the years following its discovery, the 2001 cent gained a cult following. Coin forums lit up with speculation. Imagine finding a single penny in your pocket, one that most people would toss aside, and discovering that it could be worth thousands, even millions of dollars. That's the hidden power behind the Lincoln 2002 1-cent coin, a modern piece of U.S. currency that at first glance seems ordinary, but under the right conditions, could transform into a treasure more valuable than gold. Most people pass by coins like these every single day without giving them a second thought. But collectors and experts know that sometimes the smallest details can turn a common coin into a fortune. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation for over a century. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Since then, billions have been minted, but not every coin is created equal. Some coins carry small errors, rare mint marks, or unique features that make them stand out. That's exactly what gives the 2002 Lincoln 1-cent coin its potential. While most 2002 pennies are worth only a cent, certain varieties and conditions make them highly sought after by collectors across the globe. It's not about the age of the coin alone, but the story behind it, the minting process, and the imperfections that can turn it into something rare. The year 2002 wasn't a landmark year for the penny in terms of design changes. It still bore the classic Lincoln Memorial reverse, a design that was in use from 1959 to 2000. On the obverse, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln sculpted by Victor David Brenner remained the same, a design that had already become one of the longest-running coin portraits in American history. But beneath the familiar look of the 2002 penny lies the possibility of extraordinary value, tied directly to mint errors, rarity, and condition. For collectors, these factors are what transform a simple cent into a multi-thousand-dollar or even million-dollar asset. Mint errors are among the most fascinating aspects of coin collecting, and the 2002 Lincoln penny has its share of them. Imagine a coin struck off-center, where part of the design is missing, or a double-die coin where the inscriptions or the portrait show a shadow-like doubling effect. These errors are not intentional, but they are highly prized because they represent flaws in a system designed for perfection. Collectors will pay enormous amounts for coins that display these rare traits. Simple 2002 penny, if it carries one of these errors, could fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Another critical factor is the mint mark. In 2002, pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark. The Denver coins have a D, and the San Francisco coins were proof issues with an S. Proof coins, especially those struck in high-quality finishes, are among the most desirable. They were made for collectors, not circulation, and their mirror-like surfaces make them stand out instantly. If you happen to come across a 2002 Lincoln cent in pristine condition, especially one graded by professional services as PR70, perfect, it could bring in a massive profit, sometimes in the tens of thousands. But what about condition? This is where the true fortune lies. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC assign grades to coins based on their preservation. A 2002 penny fresh from circulation might only be worth face value, but one that has been perfectly preserved, showing no scratches, no wear, and brilliant luster can skyrocket in value. High-grade coins are rare, not because they weren't minted in large numbers, but because most pennies go straight into circulation, where they quickly pick up nicks, scratches, and discoloration. That's why finding a 2002 penny in mint state condition is like discovering a time capsule. At the highest grades, MS-68 and above, these coins can sell for thousands. In fact, record-breaking sales of modern Lincoln cents have already proven that collectors will pay nearly unimaginable amounts for perfection. To understand why this is possible, think of the coin market as a world driven by rarity and demand. Billions of people recognize the Lincoln penny, but only a handful of examples exist in absolutely flawless condition or with specific minting errors. This imbalance creates value. For instance, an ordinary 2002 penny with heavy circulation marks may never be worth more than a cent, but a rare off-center strike or a coin graded MS-69 could command a life-changing sum. Collectors chase these pieces because they know how limited they are, and auctions often ignite bidding wars where prices soar far beyond expectations. It's not just condition and errors that matter though. There's also the historical significance. The Lincoln cent has been a constant presence in American life for over 100 years, making it the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. The 2002 issue, while not tied to a major anniversary, represents part of that legacy. Each penny minted that year is part of a broader story of continuity, national pride, and artistry. Collectors value that connection, and when paired with rarity, it elevates the coin's worth. Owning a flawless or unique 2002 penny isn't just about money. It's about holding a piece of American history in your hand. When talking about million-dollar coins, many people assume only ancient or century-old pieces can reach that level. But the truth is, even modern coins like the 2002 Lincoln cent can enter that territory under the right conditions. If a coin has an extraordinary error combined with a flawless grade, collectors might pay astronomical amounts for it. Auction houses have already sold certain Lincoln Memorial cents for tens of thousands, and experts believe that as time passes and high-grade examples become scarcer, their values will climb even higher. The market for rare coins is alive, thriving, and constantly growing. Investors view them as tangible assets, much like gold or real estate, with the added allure of rarity and history. Think about it this way. Every penny you touch might have a hidden story. While most 2002 pennies are just everyday coins used in transactions, a select few are hiding in pockets, drawers, or jars across the world, waiting to be discovered. For collectors, the hunt is part of the thrill. They search bankrolls, estate sales, and online marketplaces, hoping to stumble across that one coin, the penny that could change everything. Stories of people finding coins worth thousands in their spare change are not myths. They are real, documented events that continue to happen today. That possibility makes the Lincoln 2002 1-cent coin far more exciting than its humble appearance suggests. Even outside of circulation, 2002 proof sets and mint sets are valuable sources of high-quality coins. These sets, sold directly by the U.S. Mint, often include coins that have never seen circulation. If preserved carefully, they retain their original luster for decades. Collectors prize these sets, and specific coins from them, especially when they grade perfectly, can fetch staggering amounts at auction. Imagine owning a 2002 S-proof penny graded PR70 Deep Cameo. Such coins represent the absolute pinnacle of preservation and desirability, commanding top dollar from serious buyers. Now consider how demand works in this market. The number of coin collectors worldwide is growing, especially in the United States, Europe, and Asia. With more people entering the hobby, competition for rare coins intensifies. Coins like the 2002 Lincoln penny benefit from this surge in interest. While they might not be rare in raw numbers, the rarest variations, errors and high-grade examples are exceedingly difficult to find. As demand outpaces supply, prices rise dramatically. That's why coins that once sold for a few $100s now bring in thousands. And experts believe the $1 million mark for a modern Lincoln cent is not only possible but inevitable. For those wondering how to identify a potentially valuable 2002 penny, the key is attention to detail. Look closely for doubling on the letters, numbers, or Lincoln's profile. Examine the edges to see if the strike is off-center. Study the mint mark for repunching or distortions. And most importantly, preserve any coin that looks flawless. Even a small imperfection can lower a coin's grade. But if you believe you've found a high-quality example, having it professionally graded could be the difference between pocket change and a life-changing payday. Coin grading services provide authentication, ensuring collectors and buyers trust the coin's value. A certified grade is often the deciding factor in whether a coin sells for hundreds, thousands, or more. At its heart, the Lincoln 2002 1-cent coin is a reminder that value often hides in plain sight. A coin so small and so common can become a symbol of rarity, luck, and fortune. Collectors are constantly scanning the market, and when the right combination of rarity, condition, and error appears, the bidding wars begin. $1-million pennies are not fantasy, they are reality waiting to be uncovered. The 2002 penny may very well hold the key to the next record-breaking sale. For those willing to look, study, and preserve, the rewards could be beyond imagination. So the next time you glance at a penny, don't dismiss it, especially if it's from that tiny copper-plated zinc coin could hold the power to transform your life. It may look like just another cent, worn down from years of circulation, but with the right detail, it could be the very coin collectors around the world are desperately searching for. History has proven that extraordinary value often hides in the smallest of places. And the Lincoln 2002 1-cent coin is proof that even the most ordinary objects can become treasures worth millions. Imagine holding a penny that was minted just a little over a decade ago, one that most people would brush off as spare change, toss into a drawer, or hand over without thought. Now imagine if that very coin, a 2013 Lincoln penny, could be worth not just a few cents, not even a few dollars, but potentially millions under the right circumstances. It sounds like something out of a dream, but history and the world of coin collecting have shown time and again that the rarest treasures often hide in the most ordinary of places. The humble 2013 Lincoln coin, when understood, inspected, and valued correctly, carries mysteries and stories that make it far more than just a piece of metal used for small purchases. When we look at the 2013 Lincoln coin, the first impression is ordinary. It bears the same iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909. A design that has become one of the most recognized in American coinage history. This portrait has survived the test of time, lasting over a century on the obverse of the penny, symbolizing Lincoln's enduring influence and the respect the United States has for its 16th president. The year 2013 was no different. Lincoln's image remained sharp, detailed, and familiar. On the reverse, the Union Shield design introduced in 2010 dominates, carrying the banner with the words "E pluribus unum," meaning out of many, one. This shield represents the unity of the nation, with 13 vertical stripes joined under a single horizontal bar, much like the original colonies forming a united country. On the surface it appears to be nothing more than another common year of production. Yet the world of numismatics thrives on details hidden from the naked eye. The composition of the 2013 Lincoln coin is one important detail that plays into its value. By this time, pennies were no longer made primarily of copper, as they once were in the early to mid-20th century. Instead, the modern penny consisted of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, giving it the appearance of the classic penny but not the same weight or metallic value. The switch from copper to zinc happened in 1982 to reduce costs for the U.S. Mint, but the implications for collectors are enormous. Mistakes, variations, and mint errors became easier to spot because the copper-plated zinc pennies often showed flaws that older coins rarely exhibited. Thus, even a 2013 penny could hide mistakes that could turn it into a collector's dream. When discussing value, the key lies not in the ordinary examples but in the rare ones. A normal 2013 Lincoln penny is only worth face value 1 cent. Even if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, its value may stretch just a little higher, perhaps a few dollars at most in the eyes of collectors who want coins in perfect mint state. But what sets a coin apart and launches its price into the thousands or even millions are the errors and unique conditions that make it unlike the billions of other pennies produced that same year. For 2013, several striking errors have been documented: off-center strikes, doubled dies, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. Each of these errors tells a story of human imperfection in the vast industrial process of minting coins, and each transforms an ordinary penny into a once-in-a-lifetime find. Imagine finding a 2013 penny with a double die error on the obverse. Under magnification, the details of Lincoln's face, the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or even the date 2013 appear doubled, as if the design shifted during production. Such coins are incredibly desirable to collectors because they represent a mistake that should not exist. Their rarity translates into value, and depending on condition and visibility, these coins can fetch thousands of dollars. In a few extreme cases, if the doubling is dramatic enough, the price could skyrocket, with dedicated collectors willing to pay extraordinary amounts for a coin that looks so familiar yet so flawed. Another fascinating aspect is off-metal errors, where a coin is accidentally struck on the wrong type of blank. Imagine a 2013 penny mistakenly struck on a dime planchet. The coin would be thinner, smaller, and weigh less than a typical penny, instantly recognizable as something unusual. Such coins are breathtaking discoveries because they bridge two different denominations in one physical object. A mishap of the minting process. Auction houses have seen these types of errors sell for thousands, and in rare cases tens of thousands of dollars. Should a pristine example from 2013 surface, the bidding could climb higher, possibly into the six-figure or even seven-figure range, depending on collector demand. Condition, as always, plays a vital role in determining value. Collectors follow a strict grading scale ranging from poor to perfect mint state, with special categories like proof and special strikes in between. A 2013 Lincoln penny in perfect MS-70 condition, absolutely flawless, with no scratches, blemishes, or imperfections visible even under magnification, is almost like finding a diamond in the rough. When combined with an error or rare variety, such a coin could achieve legendary status. This is where the millions of dollars possibility emerges. While the average 2013 penny is nearly worthless in terms of added value, the right combination of rarity, error, and condition could transform it into one of the most valuable coins in existence. Collectors and treasure hunters alike thrive on this very possibility. People have discovered coins worth life-changing amounts in pocket change, in old jars, or tucked away in forgotten boxes. Stories circulate of pennies bought for 1 cent but sold for tens of thousands at auction. Each of these tales fuels the excitement around coins like the 2013 Lincoln, reminding us that fortune can sometimes rest in the palm of your hand without you even realizing it. The idea that a single mistake in the minting process could turn an ordinary object into a priceless artifact is part of what makes numismatics so thrilling. The 2013 coin also holds cultural significance. It came out during the second term of President Barack Obama, a time when the United States was experiencing political shifts, economic recovery, and social change. Coins minted during specific historical moments carry a sense of context, tying them not only to monetary value but also to the story of the nation. The Lincoln penny, above all others, resonates deeply because Lincoln himself represents resilience, leadership, and unity. Owning a 2013 penny, particularly one with rare traits, is more than owning currency. It's like holding a fragment of history that speaks to continuity, from Lincoln's time through the modern era. What elevates the mystique of the 2013 penny further is the sheer number produced. Billions of pennies were struck that year, making the odds of finding something rare slim, yet not impossible. It's the rarity within abundance that creates immense value. When there are billions of ordinary coins, the discovery of one extraordinary specimen stands out like a beacon. That's why collectors meticulously search through rolls of coins, invest hours under magnifying glasses, and chase leads of possible errors. The dream of finding the $1,000,000 penny keeps the hunt alive. So the next time you come across a 2013 Lincoln penny, don't dismiss it as just another cent. Look closer. Inspect its details, weigh it, check for doubling, off-center strikes, or even unusual coloration and texture. The world of coin collecting has proven again and again that the most astonishing treasures can hide in plain sight. Your 2013 penny might just be worth millions. And even if it's not, the search itself connects you to a community of collectors, historians, and dreamers who know that sometimes the smallest coin carries the greatest story. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a penny, and realizing that the small copper coin in your hand could be worth thousands, even millions of dollars. That's the kind of story that fuels collectors and treasure hunters across the world. And one of the most fascinating examples of this lies within the Lincoln 2004 1-cent coin. While at first glance it looks like just another ordinary penny that might have passed through countless hands at grocery stores, gas stations, or vending machines, the truth is that some 204 Lincoln cents hold secrets that elevate them from pocket change to numismatic treasures. The Lincoln cent has been a cornerstone of American currency since 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, it has seen multiple changes in design, metal composition, and minting technology. The 2004 version continued the familiar design of Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which had been in use since 1959. But as every serious collector knows, even in modern times, mistakes at the U.S. Mint, rare mint marks, and limited varieties can turn an otherwise common coin into a fortune. The 2004 cent is no exception, and stories of its errors and special characteristics have captured the attention of collectors around the world. To truly understand why some 2004 Lincoln cents can be worth much more than face value, it helps to look at the context in which they were produced. In 2004, the U.S. Mint struck billions of pennies, using two primary facilities: Philadelphia, which used no mint mark, and Denver, which used the D mint mark. With such an enormous production run, most people would assume that every penny from that year is identical and abundant. But the reality is that within such mass production, small inconsistencies and errors are bound to occur. These errors are exactly what make certain coins desirable. Among the most well-known 2004 penny varieties is the double die coin. This type of error happens when the coin's design is impressed more than once onto the die at a slightly different angle. As a result, certain features of the coin, such as the lettering, date, or Lincoln's profile, appear to have a shadowed doubled effect. For collectors, double die errors are like hitting the jackpot. Some 2004 double die cents have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their clarity and condition. The doubling can usually be spotted in areas like the phrase, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," which makes even an ordinary coin worth examining closely under a magnifying glass. Another factor that determines the value of a 2004 Lincoln cent is its grade. A grade refers to the condition of a coin, and collectors use professional grading systems to categorize coins from well-worn to pristine mint state. Coins that were saved immediately after production, before they could circulate and accumulate scratches or wear, can receive the highest grades from organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. A high-grade 2004 penny, even without an error, can sell for hundreds of dollars simply because of its immaculate condition. Combine that with a rare error, and the price can skyrocket into the thousands. In fact, some auctions have seen modern Lincoln cents reach staggering values that seem unbelievable for a coin most people ignore. Stories circulate in collecting circles of 2004 pennies with exceptionally sharp double dies or unique mint errors selling for sums in the tens of thousands. The allure doesn't stop there. Rumors and speculation about ultra-rare versions, struck with unusual planchettes or created through unique minting mishaps, keep collectors on the lookout for what could be considered the holy grail of the tooth. Some even whisper about one-of-a-kind specimens that, if authenticated, could bring in values touching the $1 million mark, not because of their widespread demand, but because of their rarity and the intense competition among collectors who crave exclusivity. The metal composition of the 2004 cent also adds another layer of intrigue. Since 1982, the penny has been composed primarily of zinc, with a thin copper plating. This change from the earlier solid bronze composition means that unusual planchette errors, such as a penny mistakenly struck on a pre-1982 bronze blank, or even on a dime planchette, can occur. These wrong planchette errors are incredibly rare and are always highly sought after by collectors. If a 2004 cent were ever discovered struck on the wrong type of metal, its value could easily soar into the tens or hundreds of thousands, with some experts suggesting the right discovery could push it into $1 million territory, depending on its uniqueness. Another fascinating aspect of the 2004 penny is the way coin roll hunters and everyday collectors find them. Stories abound of people discovering rare error coins while casually sorting through pocket change, searching coin rolls from the bank, or even buying bulk bags of pennies to sift through. The dream of finding a coin worth a life-changing amount keeps the hobby alive. For the 2004 cent, the possibility of encountering a double die, a high-grade uncirculated example, or even a mysterious planchette error, means that every penny from that year is worth a second look. The appeal of the Lincoln cent goes beyond just monetary value. It is tied to American history and nostalgia. For many, pennies are the first coins they collect as children, and the Lincoln design is iconic. This emotional connection only adds to the demand when rare varieties surface. A 2004 cent with an error becomes more than just a coin. It becomes a piece of history and a tangible reminder that even in modern minting, perfection is elusive, and mistakes can create treasures. As with any collectible market, rarity and demand drive the price of 2004 pennies higher. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents often seek to build complete date and mint mark sets. And within those sets, having rare varieties or error coins is the ultimate achievement. This competitive aspect of the hobby is what allows certain 2004 cents to reach astonishing auction prices. A coin may start out at 1 cent, but when 2 or more determined collectors bid against each other for ownership, the final price can climb rapidly into the thousands or beyond. It's also important to note that the world of numismatics thrives on discovery. Just because certain varieties of 2004 pennies are well documented today, doesn't mean that all possible errors have been found. Every year new discoveries are made, sometimes decades after the coins were minted. This means that even now in 2025, someone could stumble upon a 2004 penny with an error never seen before. The excitement of uncovering something unique, something that no one else possesses, is part of what keeps collectors hooked. And if such a discovery were significant enough, the coin could be valued not just in thousands, but potentially in the millions depending on its impact on the collecting community. So when you think about the Lincoln 2004 1-cent coin, remember this: while billions were struck and most are worth only a penny, hidden among them are treasures that can change someone's life. Whether it's a double die error, a rare minting mistake, or an untouched mint state example that gleams as if it just left the press, the 2004 penny is proof that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value. Every coin in your pocket is worth checking, because one day, that ordinary